Hello, everybody. This is Random Dan 23 here, back again. And I thought I'd make a video today about a subject on my channel that I haven't talked much about lately, and that is automobiles. And the automobile I wanted to talk about today is my own personal daily runner, and that's my 22 Ford Maverick. I had made a video toward the beginning of my channel's life about the Ford Maverick and if it was good, bad, or indifferent. But now, after owning it for getting close to 4 years now, I have more of a opinion on the vehicle compared to when I first got it. So, first of all, I guess we'll go over three things that are good about the Ford Maverick in case you are interested in buying a new model or perhaps a used model now. And I made a little list so I wouldn't make a fool of myself and forget the main points I wanted to talk about. The number one good thing about the Maverick is the ride and handling. I think the ride and handling has been very perfected, especially being the first model year that I had it, that I got it. It rides very much like an SUV or a car. It's very not truck like in its ride and handling, so that's a good thing. Number one. Number two, the fuel economy is outstanding. If you have the hybrid model, um, I've also heard the EcoBoost model does rather good. So the hybrid model though is phenomenal. The gas mileage is, I think it's above the EPA ratings as far as I remember. You could get in the summertime. I've had no problem getting 40 to 50 miles a gallon. That's driving like a respectable human being though, and not being a drag racer or anything like that. Now that it's the winter time, you could still get maybe 40, but usually you'll be in maybe the high 20s through to 30s, somewhere in there, just because the gas engine has to run more and therefore you're not saving as much gas because it has to heat the hybrid battery and stuff like that. So you won't quite get as good gas mileage as you would when the weather's nicer out, warmer, where the gasoline engine doesn't have to run as much. And number three, good points for the Maverick is the price is still relatively decent. When I first got the Maverick, the prices were really good. You could get the base model for like 20 grand, a nicely loaded XLT model like I have for like 30 grand, and the top of the line trim, the Lariat, I believe was about 35 at that time. Now we're anywhere from I couldn't even tell you what the XL model is. I know it's at least 25 grand. The XLT is like 35. And then if you want a Lariat, it's about 40. So there's that. The prices are still decent. They're not as decent as they were at the launch year of 2022. But for a small pickup, I guess you would say the price still isn't too bad. Now, shall we talk about the bad points of the Ford Maverick? One of which personally affected me and I was a little ticked off about. So we'll get into that in a minute. The first one is it's terrible. Well, this one affects me too, as a matter of fact. It's terrible in bad weather. The front wheel drive hybrid Maverick, it's just god awful. I've never had a vehicle that was so bad in snow and ice. And even sometimes heavy rain, the truck will slide on the water. If the water's pulled up. I mean, I know some people would say that you're hydroplaning, but you know, in other vehicles, I really had to act like a goof to hydroplane. And the Ford, the Maverick just hydroplanes on, little pools of water. So you really got to be careful with it. And like I said, in the snow and ice, forget it. You going up a hill or something, you're not going to make it. It's not possible for the Maverick. If you're on flat ground, maybe going downhill, you'd be okay. You probably still slip and slide, but at least you'll get to where you're going if you take your time. And it does have like a snow mode on its, there's different modes you can select for the way the transmission operates. And there is a snow slippery mode, so that does help, but still it's rough. you could be a little bit scared driving in the wintertime with the Maverick front wheel drive hybrid. Now, since 2025, you could get the Maverick hybrid with the all wheel drive system. And I really wish Ford would have implemented that from the launch time of the truck. But I guess for cost saving reasons or engineering costs, for some reason, they just didn't do that in 2022, 23, or 24. So now 25 and up, I would assume they're going to keep offering all-wheel drive with the hybrid engine. So we'll see how that goes. And for the number three, oops, no, not number three. I'm sorry. Let's go back. Let's do number two. Number two, we have bad batteries in the Ford. Uh, the 22, 23, and 24 model years had Ford got batteries. I don't know if I believe mine says it's made in Spain. And you're lucky if these things last 3 years. I mean, my Maverick's battery lasted not even quite 3 years. I mean, I don't drive all over the place. I average about 10 to 12,000 miles a year. But still, a brand new vehicle with a brand new battery only lasting 3 years, I it's just astounding to me because I have beater cars where the batteries lasted longer. And I think it's sad because you're paying the price of a new vehicle and you get a crap battery. And one of the big problems with the crap battery is that it puts the truck into deep sleep mode. And I've seen many of forums and many of comments and many of issues with the Ford Maverick Hybrid in its deep sleep mode. I, I think it's a problem with the EcoBoost, but not as much. It's mostly related to the hybrid. So this one's personally affected me because my battery was starting to go out at like 2 3/4 years old. And of course, the basic warranty is 3 years, 36,000 miles. And at the time, the battery wasn't, I guess you would say, faulty enough. When I had it to the service garage for the Ford garage for the deep sleep mode issue, and they told me it passed the test, it was fine. So I go on, take my truck. Now, this is all documented. I go on, take my truck, go on my merry way. And within a couple months, I'm back to sleep mode, back to reserve battery mode and sleep mode, which really causes an inconvenience because then you can't use your Ford app for anything. I mean, you can get on the app, but it ain't going to do nothing because the truck's in sleep mode, which is really crappy in my opinion. And so I had taken it back in a couple months later for regular service, and I had them check the battery again. And sure enough, the battery no longer passed the test. And I called Ford Corporate and talked to them about it. After many phone calls, they refused to replace the battery. Just wonderful. Uh, you know, this is the kind of thing that makes people not buy your vehicle again because you do stupid things like that, like over a battery that really, really should be replaced because it's junk. Um, I know it's a cheaper vehicle. I know there's cost cutting. I understand that, but when you come down to a battery and you can't even replace a battery, when the battery was going bad within the warranty period, they still won't replace it. So eventually, I'm gonna have to get a battery at my own cost, which is wonderful. And finally, we'll go into the third thing is recalls. Now, this is the least bothersome of the three issues, the three bad things I've had to say about the Maverick because I understand mine was a 2022. It was the launch year. You're going to have problems with new models. It's just the way of things with cars nowadays and has been for many, many years. The first model year usually has issues, usually has recalls, which is fine. I understand that. And as long as Ford is going to continue to take care of them and back up their products, that's great. If there's recalls, it sucks. It's sort of inconvenient, but at least they're standing behind their stuff and they're fixing what was screwed up from the factory when it was made or defective from the factory when it was made, which is, okay on my dime. If you can do it, and you're going to back up your customers in that respect. That's good. So, it's a bad thing that there's so many recalls, but then again, at least they're taking care of it, unlike my battery. And with that said, you know, three good things, three bad things. Overall, I enjoy the Maverick, and I was thinking about getting a 26 model year. I don't know if I want to spend the money at the moment, but I've been thinking about it. Uh, in the grand scheme of things, a lot of new cars have problems nowadays, which is sad. No matter foreign or domestic, they're all having issues, recalls, some stupid problems, and pretty sad, like I said, in my opinion, because the amount of money you spend on a new car and then have problems right out of the gate. I just don't remember new cars having so many issues when I was growing up or in past years when my parents had cars or even my grandparents for that matter. So I guess that's just the way of things anymore. Cost cutting and mass production. So yeah, like I said, I just thought about making a video, especially since we're dealing with wintertime climate here where I live, and the Maverick hasn't been performing well and hasn't performed well since I've owned it. So just gave me the idea to make a video about an automobile, which was one of my topics on my channel, which I haven't done in a while. So there you have it. Three good things and three bad things about the at least the 22 to 24 series Ford Maverick. And that's about all I got to say. I hope everyone's doing well out there, and we'll see you on the next one.